I believe that Easter isn't just an event, but it's not a weekend. It's not like just this holiday. It is representative of the single biggest act in history that has caused so much good, bad, other. It was a pivotal moment. And I do believe that, man, what Christ did, like that's amazing, spectacular, supernatural. And then therefore, if I actually believe that, why am I not doing something?
Welcome to the Lasting Impact Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Marquand. Join me as I sit down with remarkable individuals making a meaningful difference in business and ministry. We'll explore their stories, challenges, and successes, all with the goal of encouraging you to go out and make a lasting impact. If you love what you hear, don't forget to rate, review, and share. Welcome to Lasting Impact. Cassidy Cagle.
How's it going, Mark?
Hey, man. It's going good. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you.
Well, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I get to be the head of a family of five. So I'm married to Miranda. We've got three kids. So that's Josie, she's 13, Zach, he's 11, and Adeline's 7. So there's a lot of fun with that. That's a fun age range.
Yeah.
And man, I love where we're at right now. So what I do occupation wise, I run a video marketing company. So I just capture messages and then deliver those to people. That's kind of the thing, like revise a message, pair it with video and show it to the world or their particular clients. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're a business owner, right? So you own your own business. Well, tell us a little bit about, I know once we get into like video marketing or that type of field, that can mean a lot of things. So tell us a little bit about a client, or not anyone in particular, but tell us the great client for you and what you're doing for them.
What is a great client?
Yeah, what is a great client and what are you doing for them? Is,
cool.
Is there, I've seen a lot of your work and I know you do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I know you've shot commercials for high-end car dealerships. I know you've told stories for nonprofits, and you've done events. So with your caliber of talent, I know you can do anything, but just describe probably your ideal, like, or because I know you have a lot of passion with what you do too. So you help a lot of people.
So I'm really keen into manufacturing and to nonprofit. So it's like those two things. It's like I grew up. I mean, my dad still works at a plant over in Sand Springs. It's not far.
Yeah.
And so a lot of those guys are just blue collar guys. Like I get you, that kind of thing. So I do like that. And a lot of that is, maybe there's some similarities, but then on the other side, it's like the nonprofit work and a lot of that's just fundraising, either fundraising or sharing and telling a message. There's kind of a mix there, but, that can really lead to some there's some creative pockets to really kind of do some fun stuff, some stuff that I think even gets to really like the why I got behind doing video, why I kind of fell in love with that sort of thing. And there's a lot that lines up there.
Yeah. So when you're meeting with the client, whether it be a ministry or a church or whatever it is, or the car dealership, or I've just seen, like we just said, some of your work, and it's really scattered. I mean, you're a filmmaker. I mean, just plain and simple, you're a filmmaker, and like you said at the beginning, you're delivering a message.
Yeah.
Do you find that you really have to mine out of the client what they're trying to get across? Because here's what I'm imagining. I'm imagining that you have a client that knows they should get a message out.
Yeah.
No, probably seeing someone else like, man, we saw your work, or we saw that commercial, or we saw that message that was sent visually, and we should do that too.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's common. I mean, but but that's not their world typically.
No,
you're not going to a
typically.
university and they're like, we want it exactly like this. I
Right.
mean, you're a president of a university or a president of a company, they know that business.
Right.
They don't know your business.
Yeah.
And so I could only imagine, part or probably a good part of this is getting them to share and probably go deep of like, well, tell us what you're trying to accomplish in all this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do realize that like when I am in discussions with potential clients or clients wherever we're at on that, there's kind of two categories. And one is like, I know I need this. And they at least have, a higher level of knowledge about like, this is what we need. Maybe they have some experience in it. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just informed by this, that, or the other. They know what they want. So it's like, okay, that's great. That's that. The other side is they might know what they want. They might not. Sometimes it's, oh, well, our competitor did this, so we need to do this. And it's almost reactionary.
Yep.
And then there's not as much of a clear path as to why. And so a lot of my questions go to like, why? So the better that I can figure out what's the why behind this, or ultimately I push to like, not just you want a video, you want some content, but what's the goal you're trying to achieve out of this? Like, am I even a good fit to work with you?
Sure.
And so that's the biggest thing of like figuring out what their goal is. And then like, what can we track to do enough of, or eyes, views coming through, contracts signed, whatever that is, that actually defines whether this was successful or, well, we missed the mark. So that's a big thing that I ask through just questions. And then there's all the creative stuff and that sort of thing. But I think the biggest thing is just like, what do you want out of this? What do you actually want to happen as a result? Because if I am creating some kind of content for you guys, worst case scenario is it doesn't do anything. And then I've worked for companies, I will keep it vague. I will work for a well-known car dealership in town who I would create an awesome piece of content. But at that time, I didn't ask them what means that we won or that we failed. So then there's just kind of like, oh, we did this thing. It looks cool, but nothing really changed. And then I didn't talk about delivery. That's a whole nother thing to talk about. That's a rabbit trail. But it's kind of like, here's a tool, and then, oh, let's hurry up and bury it in the sand. So it's just like scattered throughout the beach. Like, here's this awesome tool that you have to utilize, but not utilizing it. Yeah.
I think, in business and gosh, in relationships, family, it doesn't matter. I'm finding that setting expectations, setting the right expectations is like key. If it's not the number one key, it is up there on key on what are you trying to accomplish?
Right. Yeah. And
well, here's how we're going to accomplish that. And, from start to finish, this is what it's all going to look like. The end product, for me and in mortgages, real estate, it's owning property. And here's how the close could look. And here's, our prediction of your profit through real estate. Yeah. Anyway, if you're not setting the right expectations and you get to the end of the line and the person that is on the business side of it, whether the owner or, the lender or whatever, who kind of like set out guiding this thing, if you get to the finish line and you feel, hey, we did a great job.
Yeah.
We did a great job. Yeah. We hit all of our markers. Everybody, it's something time to celebrate. Yeah. But your client is at the finish line, like, you missed the marker.
Yeah.
Like, we're not happy. Yeah. This isn't what we expected.
Right.
And you're walking away like, man, what did you expect?
Yeah.
And I thought we talked about it.
Right.
And you can find out like, man, you see a lot in family or in business that no, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about expectations. Yeah. I had something in mind.
Right.
You had something in mind.
Yeah.
We get to the end. I'm happy. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. That means none of us are happy.
One example, if I can jump in, just from a relationship standpoint, I know Miranda will not be upset if I talk about this, but of like, you're on a vacation.
Yes.
What are the expectations for like what your wife wants out of the vacation and what I want? And man, there have been some
Oh, dude.
Some heated discussions, I feel like, over that. But that's kind of one of those just learning processes of like, oh, wow, I didn't realize even in this thing that's just like, oh, it's just going to be good. And it's like, no, you have to set the expectation.
Yeah.
And figure out what those are on both sides.
Yeah. I think there's a balance between, I think you need to have, hey, let's just get there and have a good time. We'll figure it out. I think there is fun in that.
Yeah.
And I think there's also danger in like, you just didn't have a plan.
Right.
And now we're here and things were supposed to be booked.
Yeah.
So I have a really good friend there. He's a family. They're a big family. They're adults now. So my pal's our age, adult. All his siblings, they have kids and stuff. So they once or twice a year take a mega family vacation, meaning that his folks, his siblings, and all the kids. And like, I think there was a lot of disaster in some of those trips because of the expectations not set.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I thought we were all going to go do this.
Right. Yeah.
We should all be together the entire time.
Oh yeah.
And then some others like, man, I just kind of want to sprinkle in some family time. Me and my wife are about to go hang out and while we're here. Yeah. So, you know, he was telling me over time, they really developed a system of everybody sharing their expectations of what this, you know, here's what we need.
Right. Yeah.
We need our personal family time. And then this time we're all going to hang out.
Yeah.
A younger couple was like, we love our nieces and nephews. We don't want them crawling into our hotel room early because they're up. We love like, we want to sleep in.
Right.
We're night owls. So we'll be the ones hanging out with them late at night. So yeah, I mean, just setting expectations, business, family, so key, so important. Man, one of the things where, you know, kind of brought us together a little bit is our roles at serving people and serving our church.
Yeah.
I mean, we serve people at a high level, you and I, through serving our local church. And I think we're both kind of in spots where the gifts that God has given us, you know, individually, my gifts and your gifts, we can not only take that into the business world to help us earn for our families, but we're taking those same gifts and we're taking, you know, to our local church and giving and donating of our time and serving. Yeah. That is you in a big way. Now, and I get it. There's things there where they're a client of yours too at times.
Sure.
And it probably didn't start that way.
No.
You know, that's probably something where you had given of your time, donated of your expertise. And at the time they needed more, and it probably came to a point where they needed more. And you're like, great, let's kind of convert some of this into, you know, we'll take you on as a client.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to hear about your heart. Like what is in your heart that says, okay, man, I'm going to drop billing hours, the opportunity to bill a client or to, basically I'm going to drop certain billing hours where I could be out earning, building my business, but I'm going to stop and I'm going to go serve the church.
Yeah.
How did that, like, where did that come from in you, or why do you do that?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I mean, I grew up, so the same church that we both attend in different campuses.
Yeah.
I've been going there since I think I was 7.
Wow.
So we're talking like, for me, that's like, you know, mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been there a little bit, and that I feel like that was something just like by the pastor at that time that was just like, all right, you're part of the church, you work. And it's there, to some degree, there was that was just kind of like, oh, this is normal and it's a part.
Yeah.
But then, so fast forwarding a number of years, I did actually work for the church full time for a couple of years, back around 2010. And I stepped away, and man, that was a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the best 2 years of my life. And then the last 6 months was like one of the worst, and not because of the church. It was more of my expectation of like, oh, I'm close to the church, therefore I can relax a little bit in my faith. And it was almost like I think I've said it before, hopefully this makes sense, like a piggyback faith of like my parents' faith, grandmother's faith. Oh, I'm working for this organization that Oh, yeah, it's okay. And so that was my fault in that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so after like a year of just not doing anything, they announced that, hey, we're going to start this satellite campus that we're going to build. We're going to meet at either 4 or 5 a.m., a ridiculous time Sunday morning, build it up, have the services, and then tear it down. And then so I helped with that, like from the first weekend, and there was like different roles in that for about 8 years. And
8 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo.
So that was man, that was incredible, because I've just been able to see, I mean, think about this, like somebody who comes in like, oh, this was amazing. Yeah. And then you're not trying to tell everybody about this, but there were sometimes like, oh, when did you guys get into, start like rehearsal and stuff this morning? Oh, well, we had to build everything. So at that point, it's like, wait, there's so much more of an impact of you guys like sweat and sometimes bled over some of this.
Oh yeah.
Just putting it together. And
so just to give a listener a little bit of context here, that's a mobile church.
Yeah.
So a lot of churches start out with, they're going to rent a spot, and they'll come in, and whether it's an auditorium space or whatever it was, they're going to come in. A lot of times they're going to build a stage. Yeah. They're going to build out some classrooms. They're going to build out the coffee area. They got to make, room for praise and worship team. Yeah. And if you get that spot for 24 hours, and church starts at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Yeah. You have to have a crew to get there. And it's a concert. Like you're bringing in a semi, you're backing up a semi and bringing in everything and building for a handful of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't let me, I just wanted to like put that out there.
Good.
You're really, some churches rent out like a little ballroom, maybe they don't have much. And then some, maybe a school where they get the gymnasium.
Right.
But then there's some churches can be like, hey, but we want it to look like our church.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and invest, make it mobile.
Right.
We need a team that's going to build this thing so we can host a church, host family, host service.
Yeah. And so that was cool. Like with every time the truck was backed up, like in one way, that was just, man, there's all these people in this community that I get to love so much. I didn't back up the truck, so I never had a license for that. But but even anything you move, anything like that, it's like it's easy to get in this this mindset of like, I got to do the job. Yeah. But when you're just kind of like slow down and think like, man, I do this as a result of, I do believe that there are people in this community who can be affected by what's happening in this today, here today. And so I feel like that's a lot of what, of kind of like the passion behind that. It shifted a little bit in the last couple of years. So thankfully that particular campus was able to, I'll say migrate with another, that's the wrong word.
Well, we adopted a church.
Okay.
That, and I'm okay with saying that. I mean, there was a church out there that was in transition and it was not surviving. And we had an opportunity as a church that was starting to thrive.
Sure.
And we adopted a church and kind of united and it's been good ever since. I know you've been a big part about that.
Right.
I want to pause on something because I think we're bringing up a good point here of the volunteer or the serve that's really task oriented.
Yeah.
And, that's a lot of people serve. I'm like, there's tables to set up.
Right.
As you know, I'm part of a monthly breakfast at our church and, I helped originate it. I was there from the beginning, from 20 guys to 420 guys.
Yeah.
And that takes an army.
Yeah.
And, there's content creators, there's communicators, and then there's just the standard. We need to set up 60 tables and 500 chairs.
Yeah.
And that needs to be done fast.
Right.
And we need to get 400 to 500 men fed in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So there's kitchen setup, there's kitchen tear down, there's the tables and I love how I'm bringing this up because you talked about the pausing and slowing down. There's a job that needs to get done. And there's a lot of just practical,
Right.
non-spiritual.
Yeah.
Hey, this is where we're starting. This is where we're stopping. Let's get this done. We got to work like this. I mean, there's just some really good engineering in all of this to get something done.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I can be real task oriented because I lead a lot of those teams of just kind of coordinating.
Yeah.
Are we on point?
Yeah.
We need to hit our marker so we can start on time and end on time and get everybody out of here.
Right.
So I can get real driven.
Sure.
You know, walk into a room. Is it set up? Is it right? Is lighting right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you sound guys, you lighting guys. I mean, I'm over there, don't know anything that you're doing. I know what I want it to look like. And
You know when it looks wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I know when it looks wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, this shouldn't be a surprise. Let's get this rolling. I don't want to hear about technical difficulty anyway.
Right.
I was saying all that to say it's like usually at the end where like, well, or through the service, I'm hearing the message and okay, we did all of that for this.
Right. Yeah.
We did all of that for this. We did all of the rolling up our sleeves and like you said, there is cuts and bangs and things that happen and you're taping up equipment and something just broke. And how are we searching for the next coffee pot because this water line broke? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy the things that you run into and it is work, man. Yeah. It takes a lot of work. Yeah. All the work gets done so we can serve people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what can get lost is, the whole reason why we're doing this.
Yeah. Very quickly
is to serve people.
Yeah.
To create an opportunity for God's word to be presented, for moments of his healing power. Right. I mean, just like it all needs to be set for designated time for people to hear from the Lord.
Yeah.
You don't have the workers.
No.
Forget it. And I think that's God's design. So how do you stop and after rolling or during the time of, and yours during those years of the mobile church, it really is unbelievable. Like it's like the average person just doesn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of someone showing up on a weekend at 4 a.m.
Right.
Hey, and if you come, we're going to buy some glazed donuts for you guys. So that's your carrot there.
Yeah.
Come and we'll have coffee and donuts for you.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, for 4 hours of sweat and pain.
Yeah.
How do you stop and know that this is God's work? This is my serve. I'm doing this as unto you, Lord. I feel like you've called, and I can only speak for myself. It's a calling. And this is where I help others. I'm like, well, if you're doing that, you're called to that. Christ is calling you. This is your role. So how do you handle all that stuff? Because you don't just get to go off in a corner like, hey, let me go pray for a couple minutes. Like, you only go pray for 10 minutes and get my heart ready for this. You get in there and get to work. And so it's kind of like in the midst of it all, of working. Yeah. And somewhere in there, like, this is all for you, God. Like, how do you serve God through this?
So I will answer and I'll share it. I'll make it a brief story, but 2 years ago, so I was, I served that particular campus in a different role now. It's not a set up tear down church. It's an established building. And I get to lead a volunteer team for camera crew and stuff like that. So, man, 2 years ago, so talking, at that point, I'm referring to, it would be spring of 2022. And we were like, I think a month or two out from Easter. And then, so for the church world, Christmas and Easter, like those are the things.
The Super Bowl.
They're the Super Bowl. You have so many people coming in. And it should be, I mean, some of the most pivotal events on your calendar that reflect your faith, or like you should, in some degree, whether or not you celebrate or do something, you should at least have some great appreciation for what those days represent. Yeah. And, man, I'll say a month and a half, I had a lot going on at the time. Work, this, that, the other, and I wasn't excited for Easter. Yeah. I was dreading Easter weekend. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got all this. I got to go from work to like working the whole weekend and that sort of thing and just do the stuff. And it was like weighing heavily on me. And, I think it was about a week out where I was just praying about it. And I kind of had to get to this reminder, and ultimately it's the question that you're asking of, just why do I do this? And ultimately it was like this intersection of like, what do I think and what do I believe? Do I actually believe this or do I not? Do I believe in Christ? Like, yes or no? Just go back to that. I do. Okay. Well, I'm stressed. There's this. I do feel like one of the things is just like to talk to God about that, to pray and process through some of those things just while you're driving, whatever. It doesn't have to be super structured or anything, just like crying out to God.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect, but the other aspect is like, where does what I believe and what I don't believe, where's the division between those? And so ultimately I got to this, kind of in prayer of just like, I believe this, Lord, I believe you. I believe that your word is true. And man, I believe that Easter isn't just an event, but it's not a weekend. It's not like just this holiday. Like, it is representative of the single biggest act in history that has caused so much good, bad, other. I mean, just, it was a pivotal moment. And I do believe that man, what Christ did, like, that's amazing, spectacular, supernatural. And then therefore, if I actually believe that, why am I not doing something? Why am I not doing, like, what's my part? And so my part is like, okay, I've got, this day, that weekend to do something, and it's more stress. But if I believe in this, why would I not?
Yeah.
And so I keep finding myself going back to, do I believe in Jesus or do I not? Because if I do, that means that there will be action. There has to be some kind of fruit from it. I know there's a scripture that talks about, and whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to man. And so, we can do things and you can be in a volunteer position for years with wrong motives.
Absolutely.
You can just be doing the things and, know the guys, know whoever's above you, however that goes. And just do it, and maybe do it even well. Yet on the inside, just, there might be questions of like, oh, why? And sometimes I'm curious if people don't dig into that question.
Yeah. I think this is important of the team leads, like you said, you're now at a level where you're running teams, camera teams, AV teams, or whatever it is that you do. And I know you do a lot. We need leaders that, hey, know what they're doing, that can take it from A to B. And now you're training people and helping people. But really more importantly, right now, that we need leaders of like, hey, are you helping disciple these guys or gals? That's where we want, I'm head over teams on a lot of different, on certain different things. And as I'm talking to the team leads, hey, be looking for discipleship opportunities. Yeah. I know it's all about touch and base with the guys. Are you going to be there to serve? We need a big team. Yeah. Last month was a skeleton crew and it kind of hurt us and whatever it is. But the most important thing is like about the discipleship. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, was on an usher team for a lot of years and years ago. And I remember a guy being asked to like take a break from the team. Yeah. Because they're doing a little digging. And he like stopped coming to Sunday night church, not Sunday, excuse me. He stopped coming to like the service. Yeah. Like stopped going to church. Right. He would show up for the before duties and do some of the duties that would have to take place during service. Yeah. And he was always the one to volunteer for that. And then all of a sudden church was out, and then you don't pay attention. You can have a guy like that who's just working all the time. Right. And like, man, are you even getting spiritually fed here? Yeah. Are you dialed in? Is everything okay? So I think you should rest. Yeah. I think for me to kind of circle back to what we were just talking about on, hey, it's depending on the role. Sure. I'm a grinder. There's a lot of guys that are just they're rolling up their sleeves and they're working and they're helping to get something done.
Right.
It is about pausing. I think there's a lot of times because you want excellence. You want excellence. I think that's where people run into someone like me who's like, man, I want this to be ran smooth.
Yeah.
I want this to be excellence.
Yeah.
I got a certain expectation. I have friends coming. I have a big inviter. I'm always inviting someone to an event.
Right.
And I want this to be sharp.
Yeah.
And I can get caught up in that, but I think there are times where what helps me is when I do stop and pause and seek the Lord and really just thank him.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity you've given me, Lord.
Right.
What do you want to say to me today?
Yeah.
What is today about? Why am I doing all of this? I know it's for more than just task. What do you have for me? And I just believe when you approach the Lord like that, as someone who's donating their time and serving and really, you're giving up things to honor God and serve God. Don't do it just to check. It's easy to do it just to check the box. Like you said,
right.
like our founding pastor, it's like that was his part of his teaching was, he was doing the right thing.
Right.
I went to a small Bible school right after high school, and their platform was teaching young people to serve their local church. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we want you to leave here and we want you to know that one of the most important things you're ever going to do is go and serve your local church. Yeah. So they were doing the right thing, just embedding that into us, serving your local church. So our pastor who was training us to serve the church, to serve Christ, those are all right teachings. But as you get to just working, AKA serving, if you're not stopping to ask Christ, well, what do you want to do in me through all of this?
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing to help others.
Right. Yeah.
But what is this supposed to do in me?
Yeah.
What do you have for me? Because I know you don't want to just do something for me, to me. You want to do something through me, both. So we want to be vessels.
Yeah.
But God, what is it that you have for me in this? Because he wants to change us and he wants to do something in us. Man, I want to touch a little bit on the outdoorsman in you. You're an outdoorsman. You like to climb mountains and hike and camp, and you're a mountain bike guy. So you really get out there. What's drawing you to that, and what do you like about it, and what's really what that's all about?
Yeah. So, man, growing up as a kid here in Oklahoma, there were a lot of people, like Michael Jordan was like, he was in the spotlight for me for a little bit. I'm sure that was the case for everybody, whether how short or how long. For me, man, Matt Hoffman like took that top spot for a while. And so I'm sure a lot of people don't understand who that is, but he was he was the Tony Hawk of the bike world. I'll say it that way. And so, man, it was so cool watching him, watching the videos, all of that. And I've just always liked getting into like, man, that's out there. That kind of scares people. That's different. That's exciting, scary, whatever. I guess I like the risk. I like doing, I'm trying to think of Lee's quote. I don't remember it right. Just doing the things other people don't do. Yeah. I kind of find joy in that. And then, growing up, finding these stories of like, oh, this guy was, amazing. This person did this, all these tales and exploits and all that. And it's like, well, I have the ability to do that if I want. And I don't get too crazy. There's still, I have a family. So there's,
well, I think there's so much more, for, I think of young people, like, I have a friend that his daughter is on the rowing team.
Yeah.
And, that's not your standard basketball, volleyball,
right?
Or for a guy, football, baseball, wrestling.
Yeah.
There's just so much more out there for people to discover in especially for, I think of just kiddos.
Yeah.
They can get really stuck of like, I don't do those 3 sports.
Yeah.
And like, oh man, you could, just get out there and start hiking.
Right.
And hit the trails.
Yeah.
That could be biking. That could be cycling. That could be rowing or getting outdoors and getting outside.
Yeah.
There's just so many activities. I mean, we have a lot of mutual friends that are into like Frisbee golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't playing that. That was not my interest, but there's so much for people to, and especially kiddos, they don't have to get stuck in this, like, pick up basketball, football. We're going to toss the baseball. Right. If we don't do those, there's nothing else. Or let's go to video games.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of other things that people can do to get outside now and be active.
Sure.
Now, through all of this, I mean, is there some, are you doing any of this to go out there and seek God? I mean, is there a spiritual element to? I'm sure you take your family camping and stuff, and I see you as a guy that maybe have got out there alone before and just, single tent, I'm going away for the weekend. And maybe you were doing that in your younger days, but is there any sort of that in you that of like, I want to go get quiet?
Yeah.
Whether through a fast or just all digital shut down and just be out in the wilderness.
Right. Yeah.
Have you done stuff like that before?
Yeah. So, there's an organization where we both get to be a part of with Mountain Men. So I've done a couple trips with Mountain Men, and the first trip I did, I've never had that much alone time. Intentionally, like just, more from a standpoint of just being alone and intentional that, I'm not just doing a task. I'm not just camping and we're going to have fun camping, and like fun camping is the focus, but that, the acclimation day, that was by far every year so far, that's the most impactful time for me.
Really?
Of just like dedicating, I think the first time it was like 6 hours of just like, all right, just 6 hours by myself. The intention is not as much to relax, but more to just be there, open, willing, seeking the Lord, and just slowing down and just waiting for something, for a thought, something to be said, something like that. And man, that was super impactful.
Yeah. Well, when you said I'm just waiting, you have a belief that you're going to hear something.
Yeah.
When you say that, I know that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting to hear from God because you really believe I'm going to hear from God.
Yeah. It's not an act.
That's right. It's like, hey, so just to kind of pause on that, for someone to go out and just do a complete digital shutdown and get away for a weekend or an afternoon, and we'll call it going to the wilderness. And you and I really have gone out into a mountain where there is no escape because it took us hours to get to a base camp. It's the intentionality. Like, I think you can go out there and go through the motions of, hey, I'm about to go on a backpacking trip.
Yeah.
Don't really care about the journey or what's this supposed to mean. Like, let's just go have a good time, get a great workout, hanging with the dudes. It's going to be fun, some fishing. And I mean, it's going to be cool no matter what.
Right.
The man who goes out, or the woman, the person who goes out and says, I'm on mission. I'm going to intentionally shut off to the world for a brief moment. And I want to go seek God and hear from God. And through our organization that we're a part of, I mean, their slogan or their motto or what their belief is, ask, seek, knock. So we're out there asking, we're seeking, we're knocking, and we have this belief that we will hear from God. And I don't know if I've ever met anybody that's come back disappointed, like, no, I didn't hear anything. I believe without the intentionality of like, hey, I'm about to go do this. I am setting apart this time. I've spent a certain amount of time thinking about this, pondering about this. Okay, I'm going to set the date. I'm going to go. And it doesn't have to be some mega trip, the ones that we've taken before.
Yeah.
I've talked to plenty of men who I take once a month, half a day off.
Yeah.
and I go to be alone and I seek God.
Yeah.
My wife knows, my colleagues know, I'm shutting off my phone for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go be alone with God.
Yeah.
And the intentionality of two things. I think only hearing from God feels a little selfish.
Yeah.
But he wants to talk to you.
Sure.
I think it has to start with like, I'm going to go seek you.
Yes.
I want to go seek you. I want to go be with you. I want to abide in you.
Yeah.
And there's just a promise that in any relationship, oh, I'm going to speak back to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know that you're a guy that gets out there and mountain bikes and some other stuff. So I think that's really cool. I want to talk about family and just kind of have kind of our last parts here. Talk about your family. You married Miranda.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you married Miranda, you weren't just marrying her. Like with that marriage, you're taking on some kiddos.
Yeah.
You became a husband and a father.
Yeah.
And one of those kiddos you decided to adopt. Mm-hmm. And I'd really like to just talk about that. Zach, if I'm correct, you wanted to adopt him.
Yeah.
And so just tell us about, marry, what that was like. You're not just marrying someone, you're,
okay, sure.
Becoming a father.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So man, that was a little bit of process. So, her dad worked at the church we attend, and everybody knew that guy and loved that guy and still does. And so the funny thing is I didn't know who his daughter was for the longest time. So there was this like couple month long of me just trying to figure out what Miranda's name was. So I finally figured it out. And long story short, it was a Tuesday night about 10 o'clock. Chico, that's her dad.
Yeah. He
texted me and he said, "Hey, I heard you've been asking about my daughter." I'm like, yeah, I was trying to figure out her name. And then so he's the guy that'll put you on the spot with a smile. Yeah. And so anyway, long story short, I asked for her number. And at the time, Chico had asked her hey, there's this guy that I actually used to work with. Would you be interested in if I give you give your number to him? And she asked, "Do you trust him?" And he said yes, and that was a huge thing.
Sure.
And so there's a lot that's gone on there that means so much. And anyway, so I get her number. This was still within the Facebook days. And so the next day I'm like stalking her on Facebook, got her number. Cool. Great. And I see like this picture of her and a kid, like, oh, it's her cousin or something. It's her nephew. And there's this other kid. And then there's like a picture with both the kids. And then it dawned on me, wait, she has two kids. Like, I don't think this is what I was planning on. And so at that point it's like, oh, I don't think this is, and, man, I just, it's crazy because like that next Sunday, I feel like there have been a handful of times that I've just gotten like some type of phrase from God. And one of those is, I want you to be a father to the fatherless. And so, at least at the time, just to say this and kind of sum it up this way, their dads really, both of the fathers weren't really involved. Anyway, I just felt like complete peace about it. But with that, it's like, she's it. All right, cool. Let's do this.
Wow.
And so moving on to like fast forward to, what it means to kind of go from just being a single guy. I had a house at the time. I had a roommate, kicked him out, and then got married, and then just like a wife and two kids right there.
Wow.
And so that was a huge change.
You get married and you're a family of four instantly.
Exactly. Yeah. The package deal. So
yeah,
I'll say it.
She was a package deal, man.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And I can't imagine how happy her dad was. His dad was a colleague of yours. So you got to leapfrog all of that and just like, hey, you got to meet the dad and your guys are pals and you're trusted. And she gets to meet a man that's a faithful man of God, and you guys start this family together.
Yeah.
But why the adoption?
So there was,
if you're cool with talking about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So there was a situation with his biological father. My son Zach still refers to it as that bad day. So, man, it was a company party at a place, and they had rented it out. There's games there to do, all that, and they had an open bar that night. And so the dad, he had Zach there with him and the girlfriend, and long story short, it was a bad night. He got like blackout drunk. They asked him to leave. They're screaming back and forth. Later on at home, like plates flying and crashing and breaking, and it really affected Zach, and he didn't feel safe with him anymore. And so much so that, are you familiar with The Little Mermaid?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Somewhat. Yeah.
So there's a scene where the dad, he gets mad at Ariel that she has all of these trinkets from humans.
Yeah.
And this little hidden area, and he just starts breaking everything. And so this was, I think the bad day happened early December. And then this was like March or April that we're watching Little Mermaid. And then Zach just like covers his head, takes off just crying, runs to the back room. And it's just like, man, just watching this animated dad do that was just like, oh my gosh, I feel that. I remember that. And so
trauma.
Yeah. And so there was therapy involved, and thank God for that. And man, it seems like a clear cut, like, oh, you need to go in as a dad and just like take care of him. And you need to establish walls and boundaries. And there were walls and boundaries to some degree.
Yeah.
But man, as somebody who follows Christ, like here's the thought I was in. As somebody who follows Christ, anybody can change. So there is that expectation and potential reality, but there's also the reality of like what is happening right now. And so there were some talks about like, okay, is adoption on the table? Is it not? And I just felt almost to some degree even guilty of thinking of it, because it's like, to do that is stripping away another father's rights. Like that's,
yeah. So let's pause there for a second.
Yeah.
So there's marriages all the time that happen, and like, this guy is now my stepdad.
Right. Yeah.
You're taking some moves to, I'm going to adopt you. I'm your dad.
Right.
Which means this other father's
cutting off.
It's cutting off.
Yeah.
He will be out of the picture because you are now taking, not just as some stepdad, which is important, but I mean, you're taking him as your own.
Yeah. And so there have been years up to there where it's like, just with Zach, it's like, and I knew it, where I'm not going to treat him any different. I'm not going to think of him any different. I'm not going to think of Zach any different. But from a protection standpoint, there was nothing. I can't remember the exact legality of this, but relatively, there was nothing in the way to stop him from picking him up and potentially driving drunk.
Yeah.
And if he gets in a wreck with himself and he's driving drunk, that's on him. But if Zach is in the car with him, I don't think that's the father, the biological father's fault. It is to some degree, but it's more my fault for not protecting Zach.
Sure.
And so that was kind of like almost the back and forth I had to think about of like, man, if something doesn't happen here, that can lead to harm for Zach. And then, we're still, there can be some type of expectation and just like, we pray that there is healing on that side of things.
Yeah.
That things are put in perspective in the correct way, and that at some point, there could be relationship again. But at least for now, it's like there has to be a wall, because I don't trust that you're actually going to do what you're going to say you're going to do. So, and as a result of that, stepped in, filed for adoption, went through that. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was man, even thinking back to that, it's just far enough away now where I kind of forget about some of those things.
Sure.
And I don't, pause and think about it.
Yeah. I mean, what did it mean to Zach? I mean, was he processing what was happening?
Yeah. So, yeah, he was. So Zach is really funny and like really blunt about things. And so there was a time that year, and we'll say it was like February, maybe about February. So this was like 3 months after the event, relatively speaking. And then he just told my wife, Miranda, on the way to school or back home from school, one of those, that he's like, I don't really know if I want my biological father's last name. And like, oh gosh, like, I don't want that said about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that hurts to hear, but like, golly, so that's crazy. And then like a month or two later, he's like, Mom, same setting from school. Mom, I want to have Daddy Cassidy's name. That's what he is called.
Yeah.
And so, to hear a 9-year-old say that, and it's crazy, because like in the world we live in, there's so many people with masks on. They say one thing, but it's like, okay, there's something hidden. They're not really saying what they mean. Kids don't care, man. They're blunt.
Mm-hmm.
They tell it like it is.
Yeah.
And so to hear him say that was like, wow, so he did want that.
Yeah. And I'm sure this is my thought on it, is he wanted to be identified with you. And that's my thought on it. I mean, there's more, like your first acts are for protection of, hey, the basic protection is like, he lives with us.
Right.
I'm taking care of this family now. You're thinking of, this guy has parental rights that, because very real, putting my son in danger.
Yeah.
So God's leading you to like, I need to adopt this child.
Yeah.
And I really feel that, as I'm hearing you talk just about it, is just the identity. Mm-hmm. We are identified with Christ. He is our Father. He is our protector. And you come in as really going to step in as his earthly father.
Yeah. And
show those same acts as his protector. But him internally, I'm assuming, I can't speak for Zach. Sure. Can't speak for Zach. But I'm seeing this picture of a boy, and he doesn't know how to articulate it, but I'm seeing this picture of this boy, God putting in him, and I'm saying God, but I believe it's God, but I'm seeing this picture of this boy trying to see something larger, and he wants to be identified with you. And he wants cut from this situation and be brought into this family in a bigger scale, and wanting to carry your name.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big thing. I know it wasn't easy. I remember being somewhat a little bit on the outskirts with you on that. And you had a lot of friends and family with you, getting that done. And, man, that's just, I know people want to commend you for it, but I know that's not something where you never did any of this stuff for a pat on the back. You were just following your footsteps. Your footsteps are ordered of the Lord, and you're following Christ in all of this.
Yeah. There was,
can't imagine what it meant for your wife, just Miranda, like having you step in and take charge and take over and take this step of adopting her son.
Yeah.
Should have had her on.
Yeah.
Should have had on the podcast with us.
Can FaceTime her real quick and just hold her here the whole time. But man, yeah. And thinking back, like there was some stressful moments, and Yeah, there was a lot of just waiting and like what's going to happen and what's going to be the reaction. A lot of the stress was what could happen as a result of the reaction. And that's stressful for me. That's stressful for Miranda. But then, man, I remember at some point there was just like this thought of like, there's a lot of people that call themselves Christians that have this like, almost like there's this feeling sometimes that it's like, I am called to live a wealthy, profitable, perfect life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wealth or profit.
Right.
But it's almost like this idea of like perfection. Like I'm called to live in perfection. But we don't live in a perfect world. Like there's a lot of prayer of like, Lord, let your will be done on earth. And I believe that is perfect. God's will is perfect.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we're always called, I'll say that, to live in comfort. So that's more what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And so in this instance, this was one of the situations that I was 100% aware that, there's that calling phrase. I was called to do this.
Yep.
But like more than anything, like whatever the potential reaction is, I'm here to fight hell for this kid.
Yeah.
Like bring it on.
Yeah. Well, it's so selfless, when I think about it, of what's in it for you. And most people have that thought, of, well, for Zach, oh, there's a lot in it for him. Right. For Miranda, there's a lot in it for him.
True.
This sacrifice for you, and it's just it's selfless, and going to the perfect life, or going back to wealth and wherever you're leading, is we're typically not daydreaming of selfless acts. We're typically not daydreaming or aspiring to be like, man, I'm really going to put my life on hold. A lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of unknown to help this other person, or this other, your family now.
Right. Yeah.
Totally act of God. And, this ripple effect for the rest of his life and your family's life. I think a lot of stuff will come back to these moments of the identity shift for him. I mean, again, I can't speak for him. Mm-hmm. I just have this feeling as he grows into from a young boy to a young man to a man, he'll look back in his life. There's going to be this, there was an identity shift when I was a kid, and it changed the trajectory of my life.
Yeah.
Well, man, this has been awesome. Really grateful to have you as a pal, and for you to take the time to come on the podcast. The podcast is Lasting Impact. What does lasting impact mean to you?
Yeah. So lasting, how do I want to go about this? We already talked about this a little bit, but I think lasting impact is more than just like getting your name on a brick somewhere. That could be cool.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing anything against anybody who does that, but and what are the what are the soft things that you can transition to that live beyond you? And that being like clearly the relationships with your family. A lot of, what I'm thinking about lately is, how do I create situations to teach my kids God's principles?
Okay.
How do I actually set them up to be a Christ follower? I've run into some stuff, and that was great. I should have turned a different direction there. How do I set them up to not do that? But then also, how can I do that with friends? With my family? How can I be somebody that's slow to speak and the stuff I say has weight to it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can translate that, but how can I be more like Christ to be more like Christ to others?
Yeah.
And there is this almost idea that the more that I can be a good Christian is to actually follow Christ, therefore live like he lived, and therefore serve people like he served them. So that should be that should definitely be the case in my household. I've kind of had to I lead a Bible study, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for those guys. We've been on hiatus for a little bit and ready to get back to it.
Sure.
This next year, but part of that even is like, okay, how much do I hold that? And is sometimes like, is that in the way of my family? And then like, okay, we got to like skip a week because of this, or skip 2 weeks because of this. And there's just that reality of like, man, what is in my realm to care for, and how do I do that well?
Yeah.
So, and really considering, and like pausing and listening and like, where would the Lord lead me? Not where do I see God leading other people or thinking God led other people, whatever that is, not looking at all these other people and just be so focused on like, Lord, what would you have me do? And I think that's the biggest thing. And just, man, there's a theme here. Pause.
Yes. Well, I think that's powerful, man. And even just that last thing that you said there, to be focused on, God, what do you have for me to do? Mm-hmm. What do you have for me to do? And not just staring at other people and saying, wow, I see what you had for them.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, this has been great. We're going to get all your information in the show notes, just in case anybody wants to reach out to you to talk business, to talk your story, Zach's story. So, hey, thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If you liked today's conversation and want to hear more, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a review and share your thoughts. Your feedback keeps the impact going.